I know everybody wants to talk about the quarterbacks, but Jenks, do we think we see a lot of field goals in this game?
It's possible. And you were talking about it, two of the best field goal kickers in the game. Also, What a weapon for both of these teams. I know it's not sexy to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about field goal kickers. I mean, seriously.
We're doing it, baby.
But hey, if you're a Bills fan, aren't you like, you know what? They're important. They're very important. They're extremely important. Look at our history. A field goal kicker who can hit a field goal in the clutch, incredibly important. Wide right. Yeah, you're dying. So when you have a guy like Harrison Butker and Justin Tucker, who's usually good from like 60 yards away in what is supposed to be a close game, I actually like that idea because you also have head coaches who have supreme confidence in their kickers, and that's not the case. Like the Packers kind of cost them or hurt them, certainly cost the Bills. So when you have two teams that in what I think will be a defensive battle, but also two coaches that believe in their guys to go out there and knock one through the uprights, I don't think that's a bad idea at all.
All right, so the field goal line for Justin Tucker is 1.5. Juice the over at -125. Same line for Harrison Butker, except for it is at -110. Or you could do the kicking points, which if you think a team is scoring a lot of touchdowns, maybe that's not the case in this game, but that's an alternate route. If you do want to play kickers, the kicking points for Justin Tucker is set at 7.5, which means, he can get 2 field goals and 2 extra points. That's -105. Or you can go with Harrison Butker over 6.5. That is 2 field goals and 1 extra point. Or, any mixing of those scenarios. It is -125. So maybe a different angle to view this game through. I know everybody's going to be rooting for the quarterbacks, but you could be the degenerate sitting on the sidelines rooting for field goals. What are the other ways to play this game? You kind of brought up George Kittle coming off a monster game last week. And, of course, one of the better tight ends in the league. Are you playing him again? I'm looking at his anytime touchdown prop. It's +115. If you're looking at his receiving prop, it's 59.5, just to the over at -120. So is that going to be your guy when it comes to the props market?
Absolutely. He had, I believe, 81 yards last week. And also 2 things when it comes to Detroit. Number 1 is that their weak spot on defense is their secondary. Number 2, I believe they allow more points to tight ends than almost any team in the National Football League. So when you're a guy like Brock Purdy and you're looking for an outlet, and also I think we have to take into account whether or not Deebo Samuel plays. So according to Kyle Shanahan or the Niners, they say he's 50-50. So right now, I love this George Kittle play. I don't know if Deebo goes. If he does, maybe it's a little dicier, but even then, I think based on what we've seen from him and how Detroit really has an issue with tight ends, I would still be on George Kittle.
Okay, and then quickly, I got like 30 seconds. Total of 51. I think we see a lot of points here. 51 makes me a little nervous, but I think it would be only the over for me.
Chelsa is such a teaser.
All right, so normally the question is, who ruins my teaser? But the question this week, I think, is, should I even play a teaser? Because we only have 2 games. And there are certain rules for teasers that are kind of like unwritten rules. You don't have to abide by them, but over the course of time, some of these have proven to be more profitable than others. Like, number 1, you don't tease through 0. Because the thought process is, if a team is going to lose outright, say, let's look at this Ravens and Chiefs game. The Ravens are laying 3.5. If you tease through 0, like, what are they, getting 2.5 points, getting 3.5 points, something like that? Like, there is a chance they lose by 4. And I know, obviously there is a chance that if you play a normal teaser that they lose by 10 or whatever. It just, that is one of the things that I've been told is you don't tease through 0 because you're not getting a ton of value that way. I've also been told not to tease totals. And I think you could probably make a case for teasing totals in the NFL if they are low enough, if points are at a premium enough. But that's the basis there. It's like if you're teasing sides, points are certainly at a premium. And you were talking about a full touchdown. So clearly, more often than not, you will get more value on that as opposed to teasing a total where, the percentage of points in respect to how many points you're getting is not as much at a premium. So for my teaser this week, I do have one leg that I actually do like, and that is the Niners. The line is -7. You can get them down to -1. I think that's a great teaser leg. But the next question is, what do I pair with it? Because like I said, this Chiefs-Ravens game, unless you like the Chiefs and you like them getting 9.5, which could be, a good play. But also, we have seen the Ravens absolutely demolish opponents. Like the Texans were in my teaser last week. They didn't even cover 15.5. So I think that's the sabotage factor there. So Jenks, should I even play a teaser this week?
Here is a suggestion. So I love Niners -1. What do you think about teasing the Chiefs in the first half? Because I need to look it up, but I believe the Ravens
I don't think you can do
are.
that.
Can you not?
I mean, you can. You can do like a parlay that's just like alternate lines, but I don't think it would be considered a teaser. Do you get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because when you pick the options, it gives you the teaser options. But I'm listening. What was the suggestion?
Well, if you look at the second half of games this season, that's when the Ravens just absolutely dominate teams. They are fantastic at making adjustments at halftime and then coming out and just rolling over teams.
But here's why I do like the hire for the Titans of Brian Callahan. I was rooting for an offensive-minded head coach. We have a young quarterback who has a lot of promise in Will Levis, and I think that's what you hone in on. You say, okay, the single hardest thing to find in the NFL is a franchise quarterback. So let's put, all our eggs in that basket. So Brian Callahan, you look at his resume, he has coached some really great quarterbacks. Peyton Manning, Derek Carr, well, maybe not great, but Matthew Stafford and Joe Burrow, and also has done a fantastic job with the backup quarterback in Cincinnati this season. So I think this is a good hire, but we will see. Jenks, this almost feels like I had a very close friend that was married to somebody, and I really like the husband. They get a divorce. The guy in the situation obviously is Mike Vrabel. So if you like him, it is going to take a while for you to see the new guy and say, okay, I'm immediately on board, because I still have some feelings, or not feelings, but I still have some ties to the old guy. So I think that I am on board with the hire of Brian Callahan here, but it's going to take a while for him to earn my full approval, because Mike Vrabel was a good head coach. I think that's the problem for me, is that you are not starting at zero. So I think your work is kind of cut out for you when your organization fires a good head coach and you're the guy that comes in after. It's not like filling the shoes of Nick Saban, somebody like that, but still a very good head coach.